Hey, I'm Tom.
And I'm Dan.
Welcome to episode 127 of Bird Squad.
Welcome back. Eagles' first win of the season. Woo! But yeah, we're back. We just have a little bit to talk about. We have the preseason game to talk about, the joint practice with the Browns, and we have a little bit about the joint practice with the Dolphins that's going on as we're recording this, and kind of like how the roster is shaping up. Because as much depth as we have at wide receiver, it feels like there's some guys that may make a name here or there. Some guys defensively as well that have been some preseason standouts in these practices and in these games. So we'll see what it is. But we'll start with the stuff with Cleveland, both the joint practices and the preseason. I'll start with the preseason game. Not a whole lot going on. Most of the stars in play. Mostly what I like to see from that game was that the two starting running backs looked good. I thought Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott looked really well. And I think the second team O-line looked really good too. Cam Jurgens is a dog, man. He is a beast. In two preseason games, he is really impressing, and that's obviously great to see.
They hit on that guy. The other thing I like to see, I mean, you heard a lot of negative stuff coming out at camp that Minshew wasn't having such a great camp. He looked good against Cleveland.
I thought so too.
I mean, he was putting the ball on the receivers. They were making some catches, moving the ball up and down the field. He looked like he was fine. He is a good backup.
He is. At the end of the day, he is. It'll still be to see if they move him, but as long as he's on this team, they have a quality backup for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down to that time. People fighting for spots and. Always interesting things in camp. You got the hurdler. I mean,
Devin Allen, man.
He got behind that guy, made that catch. I just don't know if, I feel like he's going to be practice squad if we can push him,
I agree with that. I think he's one of those guys that if you can untap, he could be really good, but it's one of those things that do you give him a spot even though you're probably not going to give him too much time just so he has a spot or what? But he looked good, that touchdown catch, the speed, and you know how much the Birds love their speed. But yeah.
I mean, those guys further down on the depth chart, I mean, they got to bring some special teams talent to the stage as well to make the team,
the other wide receiver that was impressive me was this Deion Kane dude. I mean, he went up and made a couple nice catches that I was like, who is this? Kane? Yeah. By God, that's got to be Kane. I think it's interesting with the whole Rager situation. I mean, J-Jaw they moved, and then they traded the guy today that they traded for him. So it shows how much J-Jaw had no stock whatsoever.
They saw that guy in Cleveland and said, all right, we get
so he's gone. Yeah. But,
we got
Rager still has been and it's still been the question mark. And these guys, Deion Kane, maybe. I think he came from the Ravens and has been in the league for like 3 years. He made some nice catches that I haven't seen an Eagles wide receiver make in quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to who do you have more confidence in.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Rager's third camp, third season. He still hasn't done anything.
It mostly is if they plan on having him as the punt returner still.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, that Covey.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the punt returner. Who knows? I mean, one of those guys has got to step up, and then one of those guys has got to play special teams because that's where they're going to be if they're not on the,
Yeah, because it's definitely going to be a wide receiver that is just on the roster because the depth is there. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, that Zach Pascal has looked solid so far, Quez Watkins, and then one of these guys that makes the team. So 100%, it's going to be a guy that has to bring some special teams, either defensively or returning. We'll have to see, as I think cuts have to be done by this week. So they're down to like 80 or something. So they have a lot of people still to cut. But we'll see how this week in Miami goes. We'll try to talk about last week's joint practices and this week's joint practice. Now, I don't know. The big thing last year was the joint practices, man, and how they were winning joint practices, that they were impressing, and we all know how that played out. I mean, whatever. But apparently the stuff in Cleveland went well. All I heard was Devontae Smith could not be covered, which is not any shocking to me. Jalen Hurts made some big throws. A.J. Brown impressed as usual. I heard overall positive things about Cleveland, that they went out there, handled their business, and did well. Also, sneaky Kareem Hunt, maybe.
I'm still excited about Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
They release him.
It's really interesting, man. We've talked about this a couple times, and I don't want to divert a little bit, but I've talked about this plenty of times on these videos, is I like Miles Sanders. But the dude, he's already hurt, man. He already hasn't practiced in like 2 weeks.
Best ability is availability.
He hasn't practiced all week. He didn't practice this week. He's probably not going to play in the preseason game. And that's why I mostly highlighted seeing that Kenny G, Boston Scott were looking good in the preseason game, because they're probably going to end up having to take most of these snaps. And I know these guys, I have trust in those guys.
I mean, that first series against Cleveland, that was all Boston Scott. Up and down the field. They just rolled with him.
Yeah, that's the thing. This O-line's good enough that you can plug anyone back there, and they're likely going to have success. But, I don't know, Miles, he's that wild card that he could really be an X factor on this team if he can ever stay healthy. It's been an issue since the day they've drafted him, and I really like him. And I know he can really produce, but he just can't stay healthy, and we'll obviously have to look more into that.
It kind of feels like Cleveland, though, is going to keep Hunt. You know? So the only viable option would be Drake if they release him, and if we could
it would be interesting.
Do something.
It would be definitely something to look at.
I do believe they need to pick up another running back.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Do they end up just going out and getting Jordan Howard again, or
true.
I don't know. There's bodies, running backs wise. There's bodies that they can find. It'll be something interesting to look at. Right now, like we could have said last year, they need that bigger back, that bigger body back. We'll see. But coming out of Miami today, it was a little shaky from what I heard.
Yeah, I saw a cut where Devontae got open deep and Jalen underthrew him.
Devontae made a great catch,
had to come
though,
back and
but
catch
he
it.
underthrew. Yeah.
If he lays it out there, it's 6.
The main...
I don't know. The dude's going to get behind people this year.
The main thing, I guess, the worry was obviously Darius Slay coming up a little gimpy after a thing. He did practice a little bit, but then got pulled. Obviously, if he's not playing, they're in a little bit of issues, but we'll have to see. I'm not too concerned at the moment, but hopefully he should be fine.
What are we doing with him out there trying to cover Tyreek Hill? Nobody can cover Tyreek Hill.
This is the thing with these joint practices.
Don't be pulling a hammy in something stupid, right?
That's the thing with these joint practices. I watched it on Hard Knocks. These things get intense, man. These things are really, as much as we as fans, I don't think put a lot of stock into it. What we learned from last year, what I saw on Hard Knocks, and what I saw now from the Birds, these joint practices are big.
Yeah,
they put a lot of stock in these joint practices. Campbell on the Lions thing was saying it was more important than the game to impress in these practices. So
not to segue onto Hard Knocks or cut you off, but anybody scared of these Lions?
No, because I think they're a little too emotional. I think they're still young, and I think it's going to be one of those teams that are going to be close to potentially winning a couple games, but ending up blowing it and getting in their way.
End of the day, I think I touched on it last week. It's Goff, right?
I feel
like Goff's going to be on his back at least 6 times.
This ain't a year to be scared of these teams. As that guy says, if you're going to, like a puppy, stay on the porch because it's time for the big dogs to be.
Well, I do believe that. I watch it. They are cocky. They're very cocky.
They have.
And it's I just want to shut them up. You know what I mean?
They're talking
a lot of smack.
I know. As much as I wanna, I like what they're building out there, and I don't know. The closer we get, it's a little week 1 nerves, no matter what. But I'm still confident in us going out there and handling business. Yeah. But they definitely are building something out there, and I think it's just a stepping stone for them. But we'll see.
In all honesty, we should go out there and roll them, but
we should.
We'll see.
We should, man.
See. I'm trying to be
worried,
positive.
man. I'm still really
positive.
High on this team. It's still. I know you brought up the underthrow by Jalen, and I'm trying to stay myself clear of that stuff. I'm trying not to judge it so fast.
And that was one thing that ESP brought up today. Out of 22 of 27 passes, probably 19 of them were just for 8 yards. So they're throwing those short, intermediate things.
That's the thing too.
And,
but
maybe we got AJ who takes one of those short ones and takes it to the house.
It's really interesting because that's what Jeff McClain was saying on The Fanatic today when I was listening this afternoon, is we know how much success this team had running the football last year and how it kind of was playing to their strengths and how down the line they really leaned on that and had great success with that. But you don't go out and get A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Goedert to do what you did last year. I mean, at the end of the day, if they need to rely on the run, they're gonna to win football games, and I'm not really gonna care if they're winning football games, but they're not planning on being like that again.
Yeah. Comes down to what we've been saying all summer, all off season. It's the year of Jalen.
I don't like it. I want to be.
I know you don't want to hear.
I want to be positive.
We want to be positive, but I mean,
it scares me.
It's his ball. Right?
It scares me because
we got weapons. We got weapons.
It's that deep ball. That was a big thing. That deep
ball.
ball. Like, you can't overcome arm strength. It's something like it is what you have, and you can't really beat it. But if you're not gonna have that, you gotta put it on guys. You gotta lead them, and we'll have to see. It's a joint practice.
I look to Saucy and Stenchen to, do the old Andy Reid and put him in a situation to be successful.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right? I mean, cater to his strengths.
Yeah.
I see him more like, let's use him as, he can get out of the pocket, he can run, but he needs to be getting rid of the ball like Brady.
I agree with that. I think you have to keep the reads.
It's got to go.
Bang,
boom,
bang,
boom,
bang.
boom.
I agree with that. I think they learned from that last year. I think you're going to see a lot more slants this year, a lot more quick outs, stuff that are easy reads, like you get it and they're going to be open.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not being negative.
No.
It's around the corner.
Yeah.
I'm excited as anything.
Yeah.
You cannot tell from this video how excited I am to get this season going.
No, without a doubt. I am pumped. I'm just, I don't know, man. I'm so optimistic that it scares me a little bit because I really have high expectations, as we all do. The buzz around this team is really high. It's really high right now.
Yes.
And I do have the faith in them being that team. It's just, I guess, seeing them do it because they have the pieces. I think the coaching is good, and I think they have the veterans to be around that can do it, and the schedule is catered to it.
Stay healthy.
Exactly.
Stay healthy.
Yeah. I mean,
and get some of them rookies, get them some time. Like you said earlier, they hit on this Juergens kid, man. Oh, yeah. They totally hit on. This kid.
O-linemen are not sexy picks.
I love
dang.
Kelsey. I love Kelsey. Will always be one of my favorites. But I don't see Kelsey coming back next year. I see this kid.
No, that's what's great because I'm happy Kelsey is here, happy that he is ready and is going to be good. But it's great to know, even though this guy's durable, you're going to have a guy that can step in if something happens. Without a doubt, he is the future at center, and it's really exciting. He is a mini Kelsey. It really is a kind of a Padawan type thing, training him.
Right.
So it's great to know. And the O-line, man, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be great again.
And the one thing today, they got a dose of some 100-degree weather.
Yeah, they were dying.
They were dying down there. So,
not putting too much stock in. Miami played on Saturday. We played on Sunday. It's Wednesday.
How they bounce back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
They were undefeated in these joint practices last year. Today was kind of a loss.
Yeah.
Let's see how they bounce back after a loss.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's see how they play tomorrow. See how the I don't even know when they play.
They play Sunday
again.
Sunday against the
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
It was weird watching a Sunday preseason
I believe
game
it's like 1 o'clock again.
All right. Well,
I don't know.
We'll watch it, and
I believe it's Sunday.
All right. We'll watch it whenever it is. I just don't know when it is, but. We'll be back.
This is it, right?
Yeah,
we'll be last preseason game.
By the time we'll be back next week, it'll be a week till the home opener. Not the home opener, the opener.
The season opener.
Yep, September 11th, man. So
Campbell, we're coming with one ass cheek and 3 toes. I don't care. We're still kicking your ass.
We are.
So
we are 100%.
I'm a little bit, watching that show, going, but we're coming for you. I don't care how much smack you guys, Campbell, Deuce, defensive coordinator. You guys can talk all the F-bombs and all the other crap you want. We're coming for your heart, and we're going to rip it out right in your home stadium.
That's right. And we'll have that and more to talk about next Wednesday. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at birds_squawk. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds.